Hello there folks, I'm here at the UK Games Expo 2025 with Christian, who is the games developer for Trouble on the Tempus. This is a cooperative game where you're on a rocket ship that's kind of falling apart and you've got to put it back together. It's on Kickstarter right now?
Yeah, it's went up a couple of days ago, just before the expo.
Went up a couple of days ago. So, first thing that drew my attention to the game is these lovely standees for your miniatures. They're not just painted cardboard, they're all quite stylized.
Yeah.
For the different roles
all the unique characters that the players can play as, each one with their own power, is represented on the display there.
And the captain's got a fine quiff.
He has.
Oh, let me find it there.
Proper sort of Ace Rimmer kind of vibe.
Ace Rimmer as opposed to Arnold Rimmer, yeah, right. And was one of them a child?
Yeah, the junior officer. We played a little bit. So we've got our junior officer. We made a child, even though that's not what a junior officer is. Yeah. And also our pilot is basically kind of got a Biggles thing going on. Oh right. Even though they're in space, and that doesn't make any sense.
Space Biggles? What's not to like?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how the game plays. Do you have to, between the players, you have to have all of these characters?
No, you have, so plays 2 to 5 and everybody will have their own singular character.
Right.
So you have a selection about, and they work, each character works in a different way and they kind of complement each other in different ways as well. So they will change the dynamic of the game depending on who's in play. But yeah, the game is cooperative disaster management in that kind of pandemic-y style, so you know that sort of thing. We're running around the board trying to fix stuff, trying to fix fires, electrical faults and damage. But the game was designed to be extremely difficult. There are like 8 different ways that you can explode. But as you're about to explode, the big part of our game is to run back to the time drive, and you can time travel backwards through the game, resetting the board and placing all of the cards you've drawn so far back on top of the deck in the same order. So basically you're going to play through the exact same scenario again, everything happening in the exact same way. So you've got to push your luck, learn as much as you can about the future of the game, time travel back, and then hope that you can remember enough to be in the right place at the right time to win the game on subsequent turns. Right.
So instead of running to this turn's problem, you know that it's going to take you 2 turns to move to the other end of the ship, where there will be a bigger problem in turn 2.
You know you're going to fail the first time round, you've just got to make sure you learn as much about the future without exploding.
So, the rewind, it's a complete reset to the beginning of the game.
A complete reset to the beginning of the game, and because all the cards go back in the same order, it will play out the same way again. So your unique game will play out in the same unique way.
Right, and there is a limit on how many times you can do that?
There is, because every time you time travel, you're going to cause one of these paradoxes, and that deck is only 3 cards deep.
A temporal paradox!
Paradox, yeah. Before the 3rd card will cause you to blink out of existence.
You don't want that.
So yeah, so that's bad. That's game over. So you can only time travel 3 times before the game is.
And do the other ones have other problems?
They do have totally random effects that could do anything. They're paradoxes, so they don't obey the established logic of the game. So they will do something very strange that may be helpful in the right circumstances. Can be helpful.
So when you reach the point you time traveled from, you're then going to pull this card, which is going to make it harder from that point. Yeah,
it's going to complicate matters for sure.
Right.
So that's the central premise. But that was where I started. Was the time travel was where everything started, and I built the game around that basically.
Around this time travel idea. Nice. All right. So where did you kind of come up with that idea from? I mean, you said you started with the time travel thing and then worked out a game you can make for it.
Yeah, the short version is that my gaming group 10 years ago played so much Pandemic that we could beat Pandemic on any difficulty level very comfortably. And then we started branching out into other co-op games. And I was playing them and thinking of the moments in those games where you realise that you're about to lose, but if you'd done things differently the previous turn or the previous 2 turns,
so you had certain characters
in a better position. Yeah, so you're like, oh, if we'd only done that last turn, we wouldn't be about to lose the game. So, well, can I build a game around that concept of if you realise where you made your mistakes, could you go back and try again and see if you're correct, see if your theory about how to win the game is correct. And then just built the game entirely around that time travelling concept.
Right. I mean, what I like about it as well is the ship layout. It's got a kind of classic Mark Miller's Traveller feel to it, with notes of the video game FTL.
I've never played, but I've been told that's somehow been inspired by
FTL, the board game.
Playing it, yeah.
Right. Yes. Right down to the fires and the airlock thing. Right. So one of the hazards you've got on here, I see there's an airlock, and those are openable vacuum-proof doors.
Yeah. You can open it manually if you want to, or a disaster threat can cause it to open.
To vent certain sections of the ship, you can pass the vacuum through to put fires out.
It will suck fire out, but would also potentially suck the players out, which is bad.
Yeah, but if it's the child, you don't mind.
Okay.
No, I understand that everybody has to survive.
All the player characters have to be alive to win the game.
Even the child.
Well, it will cause a permanent paradox if you don't, because you're operating outside the normal flow of time. So, yeah.
Right. Very nice. Okay, well, it looks like we won't go through all of the mechanics, but broadly speaking, each player, presumably, you take a turn, you move about, you activate one of these things.
Yeah, you're going to pick up equipment, activate locations on the board, putting out fires, fixing damage. Your primary objective is always to fix the hyperdrive, so there's a random scenario that you'll draw each time that'll have what you would need to do to fix
in what way your hyperdrive is broken.
Yep. So that will determine what you need to do that. Once that's fixed, you can then try and pilot your way home.
All right. So that's not the end of the game.
No. You've got to fix that first. Then everyone can run back to the bridge and fly home.
Right. Magic. All right. So the key questions the punters are going to have. One of them, the first one is going to be how much is board games are not cheap. What's the price?
So the Kickstarter's up now, and the price for the base game is £45.
And the base game includes all of the components we can see?
Everything you can see here, so all of this components. There's a couple of expansions also on the Kickstarter, and a deluxe version and some add-ons, but the base game, which is plenty of game in there, because it varies so much, there's so much variability. Base game is £45, then there's all these add-ons you can add as well if you want to.
But the add-ons
I would recommend it, they are very good.
You'd recommend it?
Yeah.
And you buy it, and currently it's through Kickstarter?
Through Kickstarter, launched just before the expo.
And you're expecting to deliver?
Hopefully early next year. So hopefully early February next year. Theoretically,
commercial release.
Yeah, theoretically by the expo next year, we'll have product that we can then sell at the expo. We've been to talk with retailers because they've been contacting us through the Kickstarter.
Right.
But again, as soon as the product's available, we'll be negotiating with them to get it out into stores.
Right.
It's very unpredictable, but somewhere between March and June next year.
So if you like the look of it, you really need to get on the Kickstarter. It's going to be summer next year before they can buy it from you, and longer than that.
Yeah, and the deluxe edition is exclusive to the Kickstarter. We will not be ordering more than the people that buy the Kickstarter. People who buy on the Kickstarter will order just enough to fulfill, and then we will not be ordering any more of it, so that won't be available outside of the Kickstarter.
But has that just got better quality components?
Yeah, better wooden components and nicer cards. Just everything is a bit nicer. Just everything. And it's got all the expansions in it as well. Everything's included in that one.
All right, great. Thanks for your time.
No problem.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.